Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. Welcome back to Marwell Manor Farm. So, what are we looking at? We're looking at a big pile of square bales. This is over at that placeable area where we had hauled the bale trailer. Brought it in right about here, and then we unloaded the bales right about there. But then I got a comment from somebody saying, if you start on new farmer mode, holy smokes, this entire center empty area, the placeable area, it spawns in all full of stuff. Cow farms and sheep meadows and holy smokes, it's everything. It's everything. So I went ahead and restarted. And here it is, man. This is everything. Now, if you are following other big time YouTube sim farmers, of course they've done this map already, and so you probably know about all this stuff. But this is all new to me. I really have not spent a lot of time on Marwell Manor because I haven't spent a lot of time in FS19 because I've been kind of, you know what I mean? I was a little miffed. I was a little miffed at FS19. I was staying in FS17, so I've just got about, maybe 2 or 3 hours total on Marwell Manor, and most of the time we were spending at the South Views barn. In fact, I'll go to it via the other saving. Right? We were over here. I was thinking this was going to be our main farm because even though we spawned in here, right, in this area, there was nothing there. Now, it could be placeable later, the way I was spawning in, but at the time, there was nothing there, and I figured, well, this is already, this already has some stuff, right? So this will be our focus, but turns out this is the main farm when you start in new farmer mode. So I did what I normally do when I'm kind of semi-sandboxing a farm. And what I did was I sold all the equipment that was on the farm, every single piece of it, except the structures. I kept those. And I bought, I cheated in enough money to give us 2 million euro, which in this case was about 1 million euro to give us 2 million total. And then I went ahead and bought the equipment that I like. And I think that's a compromise. I think that's fair. We've all started enough farms. We've been playing this sim long enough. We have all started farms and grown them from absolutely the ground up. So we don't necessarily need to do that again. We can cheat a little bit, and it's not exactly cheating because we're still going to play realistically and we're still going to try to be profitable. So first thing I got another 6. This is the Bone Crusher John Deere 6. That other one last episode I said it was a Bone Crusher. It was not. This is the Bone Crusher, and this comes with it does not come with the Council tires, the Nokian tires. So we've got wide Michelin tires on it, but this is a 6250, and we have been using it to haul bales over here. And I guess, well, let me tell you that too before we get too deep into it. So last episode, we were finishing up field 7, which was the only field that we owned. It had wheat in it. We harvested the wheat, and then we baled the straw. And then we were spreading lime and getting ready to subsoil it. Well, in this iteration, starting from New Farmer, we own Field 15, Field 18, and Field 19. Field 15 was the only field that had crop in it. It had barley in it. Field 18 is gigantic, but it's fallow right now. And then Field 19 is grass. So in order to sort of bring us up to exactly where we were last episode, but in sort of a different format, I went ahead and did everything that I had already done thus far in our previous save game, in this save game, which is to harvest the barley out of field 15, to bale up all the straw, right? And we've got a couple other tractors up there. We've got our broadcast spreader loaded with lime, and we have an 8 series getting ready to subsoil. So essentially, I duplicated everything that we did up to last episode. I just did it off camera on this new save game, if that makes sense. So that is where we are. Oh, and I'll tell you one other thing. You may be seeing, it's called smearing. That's the technical term for it. And essentially what happens is the video just sort of goes extremely low resolution, kind of randomly. And I can tell you the proximal cause of that, but I can also tell you that at the moment, I do not have a solution for it. So, show you one other thing first. These are, I don't know if these are what you would call machine sheds or machine hauls, or if they are for root crop. Because we've got right? A silo here. I'm using them for machine storage at the moment, but I don't know a ton about British farms, and it could be that these are actually specifically for root crop storage, and I'm using them for completely the wrong thing. But at the moment, I'm just putting machines in here. So I did get, I went ahead and bought a combine harvester. This is the header for it. And I bought the 6 that were in, you saw that. I bought this 8. Yes, that is a black John Deere. Well, actually, it's kind of a charcoal metallic. Yeah, you can have a black John Deere. Sure you can. You can have anything you want in this life. Anything you want. And I'm particularly fond of black vehicles and black tractors. So I'll show you one other thing, and then we'll hop to it. So check this out. You see skinny barn, wide barn, silo. And of course, when you look at the map, right, what do you see? Oh my goodness. So Oxygen David apparently has recreated not just the terrain, but the actual organization and size of the structures as well. My man, you crazy, but I love you. I do. Oh man, map makers. How and why do you do it? How do you do it, and how do you give it away? It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Oxygen David. I do appreciate you. So the smearing, that right now my image is crystal clear. My settings are on, everything's on high, and I believe I have a couple things on medium and a couple things on ultra to give me, we're at 50 FPS. And for me, I mean, I was saying a couple videos ago, maybe in a truck video, I was saying these sims that we play compared to like other AAA games, other 2019 games, they look like absolute garbage. But you know what? We love them. And I've made this game look as good as it can to me right now. However, when you're watching this video on YouTube, you will occasionally see the video smear out to like crazy low resolution. And the cause of that is it happens in the encoding. It happens in the compression, and basically something is going on in my rendering software, and it's basically like, in compression, a lot of what compression is, and I'm going to explain this like in my terms. If I'm way off, feel free to correct me, but a lot of compression is just to say this pixel or this area of the screen is just like that other one, right? By way of saving, actually loading the data for that pixel, you just say this pixel, oh yeah, same as that other one. The problem that you can get is when the pixels or the areas that are sort of being encoded in order to save data space, when they sort of get bigger on screen, and that's when it goes low res. Instead of being like, I'm at 1080p 60 FPS, and it'll go to like 720 or 480, and essentially that just makes the pixels a lot bigger, right? But because they're bigger, there's fewer of them and there's less data. So that's the cause of it, as I understand it, the proximal cause. But as far as what is actually happening and where, I don't know. It is unique to Farm Sim, and it is particularly problematic with FS19. The video comes out looking great. Comes out of Shadowplay looking great as an MP4. Unfortunately, the editing software that I use cannot work with that type of MP4, and it has to convert it. And what it does is it converts it to an MKV, and then I use that to build my scene graph, and then I render that to another MP4, which is very often exactly the same size as the first one, right? So it comes out of Shadowplay at 10 gig or whatever. I convert it to an MKV that's 200 gig, and then I mix that with my audio, and what comes out is 10 gig, and I upload it to YouTube. So somewhere along the line, something is, I wouldn't say wrong, but something is happening, right? This is tricky. I've been stacking bales. I've been stacking bales. And I say all the time that I'm crap at stacking bales, and I am. Oh, but maybe I'm not, because I've been stacking some bales. Oh, why is this one sticking? Get in there. There it is. There it is. Oh yeah. And this is a base game trailer. This is not a mod trailer. And I want to show you something when I'm done here. We could have a short episode. Get in there. Right. So, so at the moment, I do not have a solution for that. And I apologize because, you know, I am like absolutely neurotic about the quality of my videos. I want everything to be just, you know, crystal clear, cinematic quality. And for that to happen, it bugs the hell out of me. But unfortunately, like I said, at the moment, I don't have a solution, but I'm working on it. So I know it's a problem, I know it's happening, and I'll get it sorted out for you just as quick as I can. So that is that. And if you have a solution, by all means, send it my way. I am using Shadowplay. It's the best fix for me. I know it's not perfect. I know it's sort of adware, but it works. And if you have not heard the story, if you're new to the channel, if you've been around for a while on the channel, you've heard this before, but if you're new to the channel, I'll tell you, I had OBS, I still do have OBS, but I was using OBS when I first started the channel, and it was working fine. And I had set it up with the wizard. It's got a wizard. It must be some kind of wizard. Yeah, it's got a wizard, and that worked out great. And then something happened, and I don't know what. And I ended up making a manual change. And the thing about this this AV tech stuff, video stuff, I'll tell you what, man, I like to think of myself as a pretty savvy cat, particularly when it comes to technology. I'm no dummy, as far as I know. But good grief, the amount of variables in video and compression and encoding and storage, and it is absolutely unbelievable, to the point where I really can't even make sense of it. And I also realize that everything affects everybody else. Everybody else, everything else. But yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Everything affects everything else. So if you change one thing in OBS, it affects everything else. And I feel like somehow I like lost my settings that I had that were working, and I have never been able to get them back. I have installed and uninstalled and reinstalled. I have scrubbed from the registry. I've done everything but buy a new computer, and I feel sometimes like that's what it's going to take. I will literally have to buy a new computer that has never had OBS installed, try that wizard again, and see if we can get back to where we were. So yes, if you're going to suggest that I use OBS, I would love to, and I was, and it was working, and then, like I said, somehow we lost that love and feeling, and we can't get it back. So in the meantime, I'm using Shadowplay, which really works well for me. One of the things that I like about it is because it's hardware accelerated and because it records directly off the card, it has really zero impact on my frame rate. It's got enough settings. I mean, it's not ideal, but I feel like it's got enough settings. Carefully. Yes. I feel like it's got enough settings that we can sort of dial the quality. I am at 1080p, 60 FPS, and 50 Mbps. And I think that's just about right. I would love to be able to just take these videos directly out of Shadowplay and upload them. The problem is that I need to add my title graphics and my audio, and as I said earlier, my editing software cannot work with the MP4 file that Shadowplay generates. So I have to go through that extra step of converting it to an MKV, and I feel like that could be where we're experiencing these problems. I'm wondering if the MKV compression is not the culprit, but whatever the culprit is, I will find it. Me and Daniel Day-Lewis, I will find you. I will. Right, so we're going to put this in here, and then I'm going to show you something. And like I said, it could be a short video, because even though this is a base game trailer, I have had problems with it before, and you may have also, in which case you know exactly what I'm talking about. It has to do with the bail dynamics in this game, the bail physics, which are, to say the least, creative. So essentially what happens is, after you get all your bails put on this thing, you hit a button, and it it clamshells up on them. It seals them up tight, snug as a bug, yo. But for some reason, the first time I tried it, it started shaking violently, right? The whole trailer started shaking violently, and then it just like catapulted and ejected my bales everywhere after I had spent, oh, I don't know, half an hour getting them all stacked up. Now, to be fair, I did get a little, there's a mod that I just saw, which is the gauge. You can see it down at the bottom of the screen. It's the gauge, position indicator, whatever you want to call it, for the front loader. And that helps a ton, because when I'm going in to pick up a bale, I can see that I am, you know, just a few centimeters off the deck and level. And that really helps a lot. This is the tricky one. This is the sweet spot. Get in there, sweet spot. Oh. 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 Like a glove. We got it. We got it. We got it. Oh. I'm so happy that worked out on camera. Right. Now, also, I'll zoom in here. Woo, not that close. I've got this Terrywinkle weight on here, and when I was buying it again, because I restarted my profile, restarted my save game, I saw an option to actually put the coupling on the back. So last episode, you remember I said we had to make 2 trips, right, to get the bale trailer down to that placeable area, because I didn't want to drop the weight and then come back to pick it up. Now, with that coupling on there, right? So, whoo, cover your ears, darling. I'm going to close this thing, and it... Whoa. I'm going to close this thing, and it... Really? I'm going to close this thing, and it may eject these bales all over the map. It may not. If it does, I will probably just end the episode right there. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. Because that back row looks like it kind of vibrated out a little bit as it does. Again, if you know this game, you know what I'm talking about. Your bales can sometimes take on a life of their own. So let's get this up here. Select that so we get our little meter. Right. So let's bring this up maybe right about here. And let's shove this little gangster in. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Nice and tight. Do everything we can to reduce the risk of catastrophe. I'm so scared to do this. I really am. Because like I said, it starts shaking. And then it just kicks the bales out everywhere. Right. Hook that up. Whew. Okay, here we go. Oh, that is a base game trailer. That is not a mod. That's not, yeah, there's nothing, yeah, that is something that Giants made and put in their own game to hold bales. And, yeah, I think we're going to call it right there, because I got to clean those up. And I'll take them down to where the other ones are, and I'll sell this thing, and we'll pick it up from next time. But we've got back there, you can see in the distance, we have a 7 with a broadcast spreader. We're going to use that to spread some lime on this field, and then we'll get the subsoiler going. Yeah, that's it. We'll get the subsoiler going. Now, actually, I had spread lime, and it was starting to subsoil off camera after the end of the last episode, because that's what our next step would be. Like, essentially, you would see this field already subsoiled and ready for planting. So I might do that. And then keep in mind, now we also own the field. We also own the field next to it, field 18, which, as you can see, is gigantic. So that needs lime and subsoiling as well. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll lime and subsoil field 15 and get a drill going in there. And then we'll be working on lime and subsoiling for field 18 when we pick up next episode. Sound good? That is fine. Oh, that's nice with the balloon. Not with the bales. No, not with the bales. I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 19 from Marwell Manor Farm. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.